Hey guys, James with Torches and Tactical, and today we're looking at the newest addition to the Olight Warrior Mini lineup. Now this is the Warrior Mini 3, and this does have 1750 lumens and up to 204 meters max of throw and 100 days of runtime. So let's go ahead and go through each of these specifications and find out if this lives up to the Warrior Mini name. And really, what are the advantages of having this over the tried and true Warrior Mini 2? So let's start by looking in the package and finding out what comes with it. So we open this up, and here you go. This is the box. This does have all the specifications. Let you know that this comes in at 1750 lumens, but it will drop down to 500 and go to 200 lumens ultimately, and that's going to give you a runtime of 4 hours and 2 minutes with that 240 meters of throw and a candela rating. Let me bring this up here for you. Candela rating of 14,400 CD. So you can also go to high, that is 500 lumens, and it drops down to 200. And you have 245 minutes. So only just a couple minutes longer runtime for the high mode because you don't get that 2 minutes of 1750 lumens. But high mode's only going to give you 125 lumens with 3,952 candela. Medium, 120 lumens for 18 hours, 60 meters of throw, and 925 candela. And low, you got 15 lumens, 165 hours of runtime, and 20 meters of throw with 100 candela. And finally, one change, I'll get to it right now. One change over the Warrior Mini 3 versus the existing Warrior Mini 2 is the Warrior Mini 2 had 45 days of runtime. The Warrior Mini 3, same 18650 battery, but you get up to 100 days maximum runtime. And I think that's all because of the addition of this Moonlight mode. Now this is half a lumen and you get 100 days of runtime. No, you're not going to get any crazy throw numbers with that, but if you want to make sure that you have just that little bit of light in emergencies, the Warrior Mini 3 can definitely do that. So let's get the box out of the way. And we have a user manual and safety warnings. So this is going to let you know how to use and operate your Warrior Mini 3 in all of the configurations available and how to get the most of it. This also tells you exactly those specifications as well, and that this cool white option does come in between 5700 and 6700K, and it is Olight, so you know that's going to come in right around 70 CRI, but that's okay. I mean, it has Warrior in the name, so you definitely can expect that this operates like a tactical light. So cool white is totally fine in my book as far as a tactical light is concerned. But we'll get this out of the way. And you do also have a little README card letting you know that when it arrives, it does have, oh, hold on, it's right here for you. It does have a little isolator in here to keep the battery from keeping those contacts juiced up, so to speak. But this also lets you know that you can charge, or you should charge rather, your Warrior Mini 3 with the included MCC cable. So getting that out of the way, we will open up this bottom compartment, and you do see here an MCC 1A cable, and this is going to give you the 1 amp, 1.5 amps, and up to 2 amps of power. Let me bring this in so you can see all of those. That is 1 amp, 1.5 amps, and 2 amps of power. So this will, aside from your weapons mount lights, this will pretty much charge anything. And this is a little bit more peculiar from a lot of the other Olight offerings with the magnetic charging. So I have the Baton Pro right here, and it has a very obvious negative ring and then a positive terminal or positive stud in the center, and it'll charge this. But here you have that outer ring of the tail switch, and that serves as your negative, and the center is your positive, and this also just magnetically attaches, and everything works great on that front. And finally, in the packaging, there is also, let me open this up, there is also an LDOC. So an LDOC is a little piece of bent steel that you can attach to any surface. There is an included adhesive, so you can attach this to any surface, and then if you need it, you know, you can just sit here and boom, you have your Warrior Mini 3 wherever you might need it. So we'll get that out of the way, and there are those older style charging LDOCs, but those are not in production anymore. So it seems like they've kind of taken the cheaper route, if I'm being honest. But hey, at least they give it to you for free. So moving on with more of those specifications. The Warrior Mini 3 is IPX8 rated, so if you go ahead and get this wet, leave it in your pocket or your swim trunks or anything like that while you're taking a shower, or need to escape and evade, and a river's your only option, you can go ahead and do so without having to fret. This is IPX8, so if it gets wet, you are not going to be in the literal dark at all. This will keep running and everything's sealed off quite well. For the weight, this does come in at 4.3 ounces, and that does include the battery and the pre-installed pocket clip. As far as the length, this is 4.37 inches or 111 millimeters. The body diameter is 0.91 inches or 23 millimeters. So that's not much larger than an 18650. That gives you about 1.5 mil on each side of the 18650 that is included. So it handles very, very svelte. But moving on, we can talk about what I think is the most important aspect of it. Because what good is having all of the tactical features, the battery indicator and the switch, any of that, the rear tail switch, what good is having any of that if it's not comfortable to hold? I mean, frankly, I think ergonomics comes out over the gimmicks that a flashlight can have. So if it's not comfortable, if it doesn't wear comfortably, then, I mean, that's going to lose a couple marks in my book. But I can tell you now that I love the way this looks. I think it has a very aggressive bezel on the front of this. And I mean, here, let me bring this up for you. This does have a very aggressive bezel. And I mean, it's not to the point where, you're going to end up hitting your hand with it and start bleeding. But in a pinch, you probably could use this as sort of a strike cap. That blue from the bezel does carry over to the E-switch. And like I said before, that E-switch does have a battery indicator. So once you turn it on, you will be able to see exactly what your battery's at. And that'll go from green to orange to red, depending on whether or not you're fully juiced up or you need to get some of that Zeus juice as soon as possible and get over to your MCC charger. But as far as contour lines go on the Warrior Mini 3, I mean, frankly, there aren't a ton. If you follow the shape of this, it does come pretty well straight down. Now there is obviously a little bit of a step because the battery tube threads into the head, but I mean, it doesn't come in excessively at all. It's pretty flat and it holds kind of a barrel design, and the grip on these knurlings, they remind me of a smaller version of the Baton Pro Max. Now I'll bring this up here for a second. Frankly, I think they feel a little better on the Baton Pro Max, but for how short and they almost feel like they're more rigid because they're so close together on the Warrior Mini 3. And I mean, you're not going to lose your grip at all. So if you're going to go for a more standard flashlight hold or go for a tactical, you're not going to worry about losing your grip at all when it comes to the Warrior Mini 3. But we come down and you can see that E-switch does have a little bit of design right here. There are sort of cuts on the outside all around. Now, it doesn't help as far as like grip or acquisition or making sure that your finger's on the switch at all, but it is raised slightly and it's 180 degrees of that two-way pocket clip. So if you do need to access that switch with your eyes closed, as long as you have a good feel for exactly where that rear pocket clip is, just go 180 of that and boom, you're on that switch. So it does turn on every single time. You can do all the fancy lockouts, but we will get into that when we get to the user interface. But we'll keep moving down. You have the Olight logo here. On the other side, Warrior Mini 3. So it looks, again, very, very nice. We'll come down past the base and you see the tail cap here. Now the tail cap does, again, cut out just a little bit from that battery tube. And there's a nice, I guess, I would call it a crenulation, but it's on the tail cap. And it reminds me a lot of the Warrior Mini 2 and a lot of the other older Olights that were out, or at least a lot of the ones that had the rear tail cap. But the Warrior Mini 3 does give you a very new design. Like I said, these are open contacts. So if you have your MCC charger, let me grab that again real fast. If you have your MCC charger, this will make contact and charge up your Warrior Mini 3. but it also serves as a rear tail cap. So you can go ahead and do half presses to go into low mode or go full presses. Now this is a feature that it does give you. When the light is turned on and you're very close to an object, it will go ahead and dim that light just so you don't get, or set rather, anything on fire. But that rear tactical switch does feel quite nice, and if you look and feel, it is slightly concave, and that's going to prevent both contacts from shorting out each other. So you can use this as a magnet, and it holds quite well. It is kind of a long light, so the further out you go, the less effective a magnet's going to be. But I mean, I'm giving this pretty decent shakes, and this is actually on the ridge of that knife, so it is holding kind of well. You can hear a little bit. It feels like it wants to start give and go. You can see it bouncing. Oh, there we go. I finally hit its threshold. So it does hold pretty strong, and if it's a flat steel or any sort of ferrous metal, it will hold incredibly well. So a good magnet. I mean, it's pretty high up in my book. I like how it works. So we do also have an 18650 cell. This is 3500 milliamp hours, rated at 3.6 volts. Now, I don't know why Olight doesn't do the same 3.7 volts everybody else does, but it does have the negative and positive contacts on top, so you can use that MCC charging. And we also have the threads here. Now the threads are very, very nice square cut, and they're anodized, so you're not going to get any gritty feel from the threads themselves. The only resistance at all when putting this together is from the pocket clip hitting the knurling on this. So we will open this back up and we'll take a look in here. Can you guys see that? But this open contact here, this is what actually brings that negative all the way up to the head of the light. So your negative will make contact on this outer ring, and your positive will make contact on the center. Now that center post is a little, that center spring is a little guy. It's quite tiny, but you know, it still does the job. You can't blame it for wanting to hang out with the big boys, even though it's a little bit smaller than the rest. But it works, and it works well. I have never had any contact issues getting the battery in here and making sure everything is fully secured. I gave this a very aggressive bounce test, so let's go ahead and turn it on. Oh, here, let's go ahead and turn it on. Now, I'm smacking this quite hard, quite aggressive. Oh, I hit the rear cap. But this light never turned off once, except for, obviously, when I'm an idiot and hit that rear tail cap. So that spring making contact with that center post on the battery, it works. I mean, you're not going to get any fancy gimmicks or gizmos out of it, but it works, and it continues to work. And it has worked every time I've tried. So what we can do is we can move over to that user interface, which I told you guys about before. And here we go. I'm going to go ahead and I might be too close to make this work, but I'm going to go ahead and hit that rear tail cap. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a full press, try to go to high, but I think I'm still too close. I think it's going to kick it back off of turbo. Yeah, okay, so it did kick it back off of turbo. But what can happen is if you need to, you can double press after it has deactivated, and that will allow turbo no matter how close you get. So it's getting kind of warm now, so I'm going to go ahead and shut that off. But with that rear tail cap, you do get your half press to your low mode. Half press will shut it back off. And if you're not too close and activating that proximity sensor, you can do a full press, and that will go to turbo as well. Another thing you can do is operate it from that side switch. So you have your low mode, you can press and hold and go to medium, press and hold again, and it'll go to high. Oh, no, actually it kicked down because we are too close, but we can override that again by doing a double press. And that is our turbo. That's all 1,750 lumens. And if you do a triple press, that will go directly to your tactical strobe. Now this is actually, one nice thing about Olight is sometimes they give you a little more info than you were expecting. I was looking at the documentation for the Warrior Mini 3, and that strobe came in at 13 Hertz at 1750 lumens. So it runs full bore, and it's going to give you 13 flashes per second. But now I know what you're looking for. This is the Warrior Mini 3, and unfortunately, guys, I don't have a Warrior Mini 2. What I do have, though, is a titanium first gen Baton Pro. Now, quite a bit different. This looks more like the old S1R2, knurling on the battery tube, has a much different head, no aggressive bezel on here, and the optics are quite a bit different. This is more of a frosted look instead of that small convex TIR optic that the Warrior Mini 3 has. But I figure this is probably the fairest fight that I can put out for the Warrior Mini 3. So the Baton Pro in titanium comes in at 2000 lumens. So what I want to do is I want to take the Baton Pro as well as the Warrior Mini 3 out, and I want to compare not only beam patterns, but I also want to compare the brightness. So how does the 2000 lumens that comes in, all it says is cool white on this one here. Let me see if I can bring that up. Can you guys see that right there? It says cool white. It doesn't give you any sort of range for the color temperature or anything like that. But I want to see how the beam looks for this and the brightness compares to the Warrior Mini 3. So let's go ahead and get out there. All right, guys, tonight in the red corner, we have the Olight Warrior Mini 3. Now, I'm just going to get straight into it. If you do a half press on that tactical tail switch, you do get your low mode. And if you do a full press, you get high. This is 1,750 lumens with the Warrior Mini 3. Now, while you have the light on, you can press that side switch, press and hold that side switch, and it will cycle. Now, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, but this is the lowest setting that it has. Press and hold again, and we can cycle through all of these modes. And in the blue corner, we have the Olight Baton Pro. So this does not have a rear tactical tail switch, but we'll go ahead and turn this light on. And let me cycle through here first. So this is your low mode, press and hold, medium, press and hold again for high, and if you double press, this is 2000 lumens from the Olight Baton Pro. Now, one more time to compare. With the Olight Warrior Mini 3, we have low and high from the rear tactical tail switch, and you can do a triple press for a strobe. All right, guys, let's get back inside and I'll give you the ins and outs of the Warrior Mini 3. All right, we went outside and we saw the Warrior Mini 3 go head to head with the Baton Pro in titanium. And I have to say, guys, I apologize. I don't think this was really a fair comparison at all. I'm looking at the Warrior Mini 3. That spotlight or the hotspot is so pronounced, at least compared to the virtually non-existent hotspot on the Baton Pro. And I mean, 2000 lumens, 1750 lumens. The thing is that hotspot was so defined on the Warrior Mini 3 that I actually think this looked a little bit brighter than the Pro, than the Baton Pro. And I mean, I want to know what you guys thought. So down in the comments below, tell me what you thought about the comparison between the Baton Pro and the Warrior Mini 3. Now, don't worry, I will have a full-fledged review on the titanium Baton Pro coming up here very, very soon. I finally got my hands on one and I want to show it off. But the Warrior Mini 3, the Baton Pro, tell me what you guys thought down in the comments below. And I'm going to get this out of the way now because I want to tell you my ups and downs and my ins and outs as far as the Warrior Mini 3 goes. Now, I don't necessarily hold a lot of the same viewpoints as a lot of people on the internet. If you guys have been on any Olight Facebook groups, you will know that there have been a number of people that have been up in arms as far as the orientation of the pocket clip on this. Now, frankly, I don't care. I know a lot of people are going to look at that as being detrimental, but in my personal opinion, I don't care. With the style, the Seeker-esque style pocket clip, I would be hard-pressed to want to have that upside down anyways. because you would have to have a huge shelf here ready to go and machined out and everything for your pocket clip to go on the tail end. And frankly, I like how the finger fits when using that rear tail switch. And I don't think it would fit the same. If I hold it like this, like obviously this isn't the rear tail switch, but if it were, I don't think I would feel it was as ergonomic. I don't like how it fits. I think it fits better here. Now, sure, in the pocket, you might end up, hitting this aggressive bezel, but I mean, this isn't the deepest throat on the pocket clip that I've ever seen. So I'm not too terribly worried about that. There's still plenty of, bezel to grab onto to take it out of your pocket. So I don't have any issues with that. That's my 2 cents. Go ahead and hate on me if you want down in the comments. Totally fine. But aside from that, I don't really see too many negatives with the Warrior Mini 3. People are going to hate on certain aspects of certain things. I'm either going to or not share the same opinion. And I really do. I like the Warrior Mini 3. I think it has a fantastic user interface. Gives you that quick access to low, gives you that super quick access as long as you're not too close to something. It's going to give you super quick access to that turbo mode. Now, the only thing I don't like is probably that proximity sensor. I don't like the fact that it seems like just having dust floating occasionally does cause that proximity sensor to hiccup. I'm not a fan of that. And if that gets corrected in later revisions, or if I don't think there's a lot of dust in the air here, but depending on where you're at or the circumstances, maybe it doesn't affect you at all. It seems to affect this one, but it's also something I can live with. Worst comes to worst, I press the button all the way down one more time. Whoop-dee. But guys, I really, really do like the Warrior Mini 3. And if you guys want to find out how you like the Warrior Mini 3, I highly recommend you click on the link down in the description. It's going to be my personal Olight affiliate link. Now, yes, I am an affiliate with Olight, so I will make a very, very, very small monetary gain off of anything you buy, but 100% of that is going to go into buying more flashlights so I can get reviews out to you guys, so I can do more giveaways. And after all, that's what this is about. I want to tell you guys what I think of these flashlights. I want to tell you guys if I think that you guys should pick these up, and if not, I will tell you honestly to stay away from it. But I know for a lot of people, more importantly, it means more giveaways. We can do more giveaways for things like Baton Pro Maxes, and we are moving into some more knives, so I can do some giveaways for knives. But guys, I don't want to stop there. The more you guys support the channel, the more I can do for you. So click that link down in the comments below, and it's also down in the description. And also use the code TSTA10, and that's going to save you 10% off any non-sale item. So the Warrior Mini 3 does come in on the Olight website for $89.99, and I mean, it seems like you can just wait a day, and Olight has another sale going on. But if you can't wait and really want to get your hands on the Warrior Mini 3, go ahead and use that TSTA10 code, and you'll save 10% off any non-sale items. So thank you guys so, so much. I appreciate you watching all the videos, even some of the dumb ones. And if I could, I'd love it if you could like this video, share it with your friends, and subscribe to the channel. And if you do, click that notification bell, because that will get you guys first dibs on any of our giveaways that may be time sensitive that are coming up. And it'll let you know when we have new videos coming out, and that a lot of those are going to be flashlight reviews. So thank you guys so much, and we'll see you in the next one.